All right, so we're going to talk today about Skyler White, and I know Breaking Bad ended years ago, but even now, this is cinematic masterclass. Many people love the series, and I think many of us, normal people, can see ourselves, especially the men, in Walter White, and we kind of started with the movie understanding how Walter's individual struggles and stuff like that, and what he did and his thought process, and obviously Walter evolved into a psychotic maniac in the end, but we still have some love for him. But what most people don't have for his wife, especially the male audience, I believe, is love, because she really has a myriad of reasons why you can classify her as a bad person, or a bad wife, or so on and so forth. But in today's video, I want to talk about, like, the specific reasons why. And I know there are many articles that have posted out, and no one's ever really saying the exact reason why we dislike, at least not on like a big platform like YouTube. And our channel may be small, so it's not really a big platform, but still, you know only for such information is very hard to find. I feel unless you go into chat rooms, you can see exactly why people dislike it, or unless you watch the series and have a maybe based view. So obviously, this is just going to cover the four main reasons I believe that people genuinely dislike Skyler White. And it's not because we are women haters or misogynists or whatever they would like to say, but just because she's really a dislikable person in a series, and these are the certain traits, or these are certain things she's done that make her very dislikable. So number one, and the first thing I believe is Skylar is a slut. Okay, so it's going to be hard for people to say, especially in this modern age where you don't shame sluts and stuff like that. But we have to call a spade, right? Walter White, you can say whatever you want to say about him, but if you contrast him to Skylar White, right? He never cheated. He never did, and he had a lot of money, right? He had lots of things. He was living this fast life, in a sense, where he was doing drugs, and who knows what he could have been doing with that money. But he never sought anyone outside his family. Not to try and break his marriage in any way possible. He, as far as you can tell, especially for the first and second seasons, right? He was doing everything for his family. Now, eventually, his ego got in, but we all understand that he, did everything for his family. And I feel that if the directors wanted Skylar to, be a likable person, then for sure cheating, just because you found out your husband is a drug dealer, right? She didn't ask him why. She didn't even want to hear his side, right? She just suspected, and then she slept with someone else. And it's really appalling if you think about it, because Skylar up until then had been trying to find out the truth. Now your husband is having cancer, he's distant. You should understand that, right? Because it's not really an easy time for anyone, especially like having a terminal disease like that. But Skylar kept pressing, and obviously my man Walter White just never gives in. And he lied all the way through, but that does not justify why you as a woman will break your own marriage vows. I feel that most people wanted to see Skylar as a voice of reason, as kind of good person. Like if you go into like Family Guy, for example, right? Like initially we all thought that Lois is like the voice of reason, because you sometimes need a voice of reason when your main character is being crazy. You want some certain balance, and Skylar was not a balance. Actually, her way of getting back at her husband for essentially putting his life at risk. I mean, definitely he did put the lives of his family at risk too, but putting his life at risk, right? And doing his best, trying to keep everything on the table. He essentially withheld the information from Skylar just so that they can't be implicated in any drug trafficking issues that will come up. And especially since your Skylar's sister's husband is a DEA, right? It just makes sense. And I mean, what I did was, if anyone was selling drugs, they would have done, especially if they loved her family in that position. And I feel that Skylar just did the opposite, and she was cheating. And in fact, I think it became too much. Like, oh, if she cheats the first time, you can forgive that. I know most people will be like, you can't really forgive that. I also agree with you, especially when the husband is totally faithful. But then you can see that she enjoys, right? She's enjoying her sexual promiscuity. She's enjoying her time having sex with a man outside her marriage, and pretending that Walter is such a bad guy. And in fact, though, when any of us contrast, these kind of things, like contrast Skyler's loyalty to Walter's loyalty to Skyler, you can see it is night and day, right? She flips on a dime on the man that who's even going to die, right? This guy is going to die. You have no empathy, right? Okay, fine, some misunderstanding. He's now dealing drugs, right? Let's solve this, which is eventually what she wanted to do later. But let's solve it without you breaking your marriage vows. You couldn't even wait till Walter died, and she was enjoying it. I think it's very annoying, especially for men who have been cheated on by women, and to see this kind of thing promoted and justified, and she's being held up as a hero, and we shouldn't criticize her and stuff like that. It's really appalling. And most people will say, actually, the men I believe who have been in those positions where they've been cheated on by a woman, right? Especially a woman who they are doing everything for. It's really heartbreaking. And secondly, I think that's the main reason why people dislike her. Secondly, also, she stole Walter's money, right? Illegally got the money, blah blah blah. But she stole the money and gave it to her lover or her ex or whatever he was at that point in time. Now, the crazy thing about this is she didn't speak to Walter. Okay, this is what Walter's hard-earned money, and you can justify it however you want. Walter is dealing on the other side of the law, right? So even if there's an audit, right? If there's an audit, and I forget the guy's name, who she was cheating with, but even if there's an audit and he's found out to be a fraud, right? And it implicates Skylar, and Skylar is under investigation. Walter is still outside the law, right? So regardless, you have to understand that Walter will find other ways of moving this money. You had Saul, a known, and Saul was very known in this kind of money laundering stuff. He's they could avoid it out, but she does not, consult Walter, and it shows from the beginning, especially, that she really does not respect Walter, because eventually she did force, the treatment on him. Walter didn't want to go through this chemo and get his body destroyed and lose all his hair and stuff like that in the beginning, but your wife wants you to live for a few months more, maybe 6 months more, and be as miserable as possible. Meanwhile, Walter just wanted to die, right? He didn't want his family to be crippled in debt, and it's always about Skyler's ego, and she should get her way, and she doesn't, ask Walter. He's not like respected. He's not, and even for money that he's had on, he's won so hardly. Many times his life was at risk, and we as viewers are able to see these kind of scenarios, and just to see the money just given to someone who is totally undeserving for some stupid reason, and this guy refuses to even cash in the check and pay and stuff like that. It's crazy, it's crazy really, and it's really a shame that she loved her lover more than the man she's been with. Actually, I feel that she craved attention. I think many of us could see from the beginning, and this is something that many people, especially people who are married, on the male side, really get angry with some women, because you feel as women just love attention, right? She drops the pencil and has this lover coming, her boss. She goes back, knows all the sexual tension. That is one job she chooses to go back. And I wouldn't even say, what I didn't know if there was tension before, but he certainly gave his wife the trust that she didn't give him, right? She didn't give him any trust, questioning him about, everywhere he's gone and stuff like that. It's crazy, really. It's crazy. And only to be a hypocrite, only to be a cheater and a liar, and also deal in illegal things herself, because she was forging books, right? Which is illegal. You can say selling drugs is morally wrong, and people get more affected, blah blah blah. But you're cooking books. Investors too get affected. If people put money in your company, right, you were cooking books, they can lose that money. That money could be money that could have been saving someone whose child had cancer, for example, right? You are losing money. You're also engaging in fraud, and then she wants to come in and be like some morally just person, and she can't justify the fact that initially, and I mentioned that like she cheated, and that she can't justify it in her mind without even speaking to Walter, that she gave the money away. I think maybe one point which kind of emanates from this second talking point is that like she is a hypocrite, because she was doing illegal stuff herself. Okay, 3, and I won't talk much about it, but she's incredibly annoying. There are many scenarios here, constant questioning, all of these kind of stuff, just not giving the man a rest, emasculating Walter multiple times. It kind of is like it's something that a female audience may not be able to fully understand. I think like the role of a masculine man, especially in this modern time, is kind of dying. People are like people and society kind of thrives on this masculine man, these trap workers and stuff like that. We thrive on all of these things. But the moment when these people are supposed to be healed and rewarded, we just like flip the switch, turn around and like shit on them. And essentially that is what happened to Walter, where he's sacrificing everything and only to be paid back with emasculation and disrespect, getting thrown out of the house, being prevented from seeing his kids, and stuff like that. It's really appalling. And to see someone who you would expect to be the voice of reason consistently perpetrate these kind of stuff is why I would say, for the third reason, that she's so hated. I think the last reason is that she really is not a good mother. Okay, now this is not really controversial. We all know that smoking, right, while you are pregnant is going to affect your child. No matter how much you are justified, and no matter how little you take it, it is not healthy for the mother and for the child also. But for a child especially, because this child is not developed, and child is in the developing stages, and as a mom, you are smoking, taking alcohol, doing stuff like that is really very dangerous. And also, she has this newborn baby, and she just decides to take the child out of the home, spend God knows how long outside, right, with no protection, nothing. Just do not. I mean, it's crazy. Honestly, we can even go back to the time that she decides to confront Jesse. Now, Jesse is dealing in weed, right? Jesse is a scrawny kid, blah blah. He does weed, but as a woman, you can't take him physically. And now, if things turn violent, right, no one is protecting you. At least not in a moment that as a pregnant woman, where you can do anything that really prevent you from losing your child or something like that. But she just goes head on and does some of the stupidest things, and it's really a shame. It really is very sad. I kind of feel that like she endangers the child's life in multiple occasions, getting a child in dangerous situations, not only being a smoker while she was pregnant, but consistently just taking a child, not thinking anything through, and endangering the child's life. And I feel this might be like one of the least reasons, but I feel that it should be a major reason, right, why people dislike her. Because any woman who is going to try and stay on a high horse and can't even do that for a child that she's birthing, I mean, it's crazy. She can't take care of a child and love it. It's really appalling. Thank you.